Welcome back to Bound by Moonlight, the podcast where we flirt with folklore, whisper to books, and light a candle before emotionally spiraling. I'm Amy, your slightly unhinged book witch, tea addict, and someone who has definitely spent an uncomfortable amount of money on hardbacks that I may or may not have ever read. Quick check-in, how's your energy this week? I'm somewhere between Moon Goddess in flow and Swamp Toad in leggings. If you've cracked a book in the last few days, I'm proud of you. If you haven't, you're still magical, don't worry. So let's talk about the book that really made me feel witchy. Not just in a fun, aesthetic way, but in a maybe I'm meant to claim something deeper kind of way. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. So what made it stick? What hit me was the atmosphere, the stillness. You've got Diana, an academic with magic buried in her blood, who doesn't want to use her power. And Matthew, a vampire who definitely alphabetizes his spice rack and is emotionally unavailable in all the ways that make fictional men irresistible. Their relationship dynamic is weird and messy and possessive and intellectual and, well, let's face it, hot. Diana's power emerges slowly and it feels earned. There's no easy spell, and that made the magic feel real. It was also the first time I saw witchcraft tied to legacy and lineage in a way that didn't feel cheap or shallow. The magic here is studied, it's political, it's inherited trauma and power, both. That's not something I'd seen done in a way that felt sacred and grounded. So this book, it low-key inspired the tone of what I'm writing in Witchmarked. That idea of magic being hidden, suppressed, and dangerous. Not just to the world, but to yourself. That slow unraveling of truth, the fear of what you might become, and the strength in finally owning it. It showed me that witchcraft stories didn't have to be sparkly. They could be shadowy, slow burn, complicated, full of ancient libraries and older wounds. So read and ritual, if Discovery of Witches were a spell, it would be a long-form ritual, one you would work over time, a spell you research. You don't just chant a thing, light a candle, you study first. You look up your grandmother's journal, take notes, make a spreadsheet. It's ancestral reconnection through words. So here's how I imagine the energy of this book translated into ritual form, because sometimes a story leaves a spell behind. My spell pairing for it would be build a library altar, stack your favourite magical or emotional books, add candles, dried herbs, handwritten notes from your past self, make tea, and ask, what have I been afraid to remember? Bonus book for this conversation, Serpent and Dove. Complete opposite end, really. This book said, what if witches were messy and mouthy and horny and ready to throw a dagger at a man if he touches their snacks? And I respect that. Lou's witchcraft is raw, emotional. She doesn't wait for permission. She doesn't study. She acts. This one feels like a chaos spell. Something spicy, instinctive, and unfiltered. So my spell pairing for that book would be a cinnamon and chili protection spell. Quick and dirty. Burn something, be loud, let your rage serve you. Now, talking about the shadow side of reading, let's have a moment of honesty. I have so many unread witchy books. Books I was convinced I needed in the moment, and then never really opened. The TBR pile has become an altar of guilt. And I don't think that's just a bookworm problem. I think it's a witch problem too, because when we consume things meant to be sacred too quickly, we rob them of their power. So maybe the challenge this week is to choose one magical book you've been avoiding and just read the first chapter. Just touch the power again. So I want to start a new thing, Read and Ritual Book of the Month. If you've got a witchy book you think pairs perfectly with a spell or ritual, tell me. Message me, tag me, or email me. I want to make a spell shelf inspired by all of us. So if this episode stirs something in your soul, or maybe you want to reread your favourite witchy story, leave a review or share the pod with someone who reads under a blanket of chaos. Next week, folklore. And not the soft, friendly kind. We're talking mushrooms, underworld creatures, strange bargains, and fae with questionable consent issues. You've been warned. Until then, stay witchy, stay wild, and maybe build a little altar to the books that made you, you. You know the ones.